The Democrats are panicking. They seem to be clearly getting cold feet with this Trump indictment, and now it looks like they may have chickened out. We're going to see the latest on what's going on with this indictment. We're going to see what others are saying about the Democrats having second thoughts, and we're going to see how this may even have something to do with Ron DeSantis. You're not going to want to miss this. Fox News is reporting that the grand jury meeting scheduled for today to consider indicting President Trump have indeed been canceled. It's been canceled without explanation. A grand jury was slated to meet this afternoon and was expected to hear from at least one additional witness, but we've now learned that the district attorney's office has indeed canceled those proceedings. And as of the making of this video, we've got no more information on what's coming next in all this, or even if this is the end of this pathetic circus. Now, the political pressures on this ridiculous excuse of a district attorney, Alvin Bragg, are absolutely enormous, and they're coming from both sides of the political aisle. So from the right, there are now members of Congress calling for his arrest. Marjorie Taylor Greene just tweeted out, "Now it's time to arrest Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg for prosecutorial misconduct after hiding hundreds of pages of exculpatory evidence. Bragg is on the verge of indicting an innocent former president and top presidential candidate against the opposing ruling party. Bragg is breaking the law and trying to incite civil unrest with his Soros-funded political war. Hold him accountable." She's referring there to a bombshell accusation that Bragg failed to disclose upwards of about 600 pages of exculpatory evidence from the grand jury there. And along the same vein, Senator Rand Paul is calling for Bragg to be jailed over his disgusting weaponization of the law. But it's not just pressure from the right. Bragg has been utterly hounded by Mark Pomerantz, who's an ultra-leftist prosecutor in Manhattan, who is part of the DA's office trying to take Trump down. He ended up resigning after Alvin Bragg took over as district attorney back in January 2022 because Bragg originally looked at the case that Pomerantz had put together and he threw it away. He refused to go with it. And Pomerantz resigned in disgust and has since launched a very public campaign, including publishing a critical book and he was on a 60 Minutes interview. And that's been designed to pressure Bragg to renouncing that decision and get back to the business of indicting Trump. And of course it worked. Bragg caved, and here we are. But ironically, we really don't know where we are right now, do we? And that's because it looks like these rabid woke Democrats don't know where they are in all of this. Fox News is reporting that the meeting was canceled amid major dissension within the district attorney's office. One source claimed that Bragg is having trouble convincing the grand jury on potential charges due to the weakness of this case. So it looks like members of the grand jury are basically chickening out on all this, and for good reason. It's a ridiculous case for reasons we've laid out in other videos. Others, like my namesake, Jonathan Turley, the legal analyst, he's noting that this case completely undermines all the other cases against Trump going on in D.C. and in Georgia. These are far more serious cases, although I think the Georgia case collapsed after it was revealed how nutty that juror was. But the D.C. case against Trump, that doesn't seem to be going anywhere because no J6 defendants were willing to turn on Trump. And the discovery of classified documents all over Biden's garage completely undermines the FBI raid on Trump's home. But regardless, if those cases still have some merit, some teeth, they're going to be completely undermined by this obvious witch hunt. In other words, because Bragg's case is so obviously a political hit job, Trump will be able to apply that weaponized legalism frame to the other cases, far more substantive, far more serious cases, and undermine them. That's the argument. I don't buy the notion that those charges are any less politically motivated, but that might be factoring into this as well. But there's also some speculation, believe it or not, that this all has to do with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. I kid you not. You're not gonna believe this. It's fascinating. But first, gang, I want to invite all of you to see one of the most spectacular sights imaginable. It's the astonishing performing arts company called Shen Yun. Shen Yun is dedicated to reviving the true, authentic culture of China before the communist takeover. Now, this is something that's incredibly important to me, and I know that many of you who are watching this video feel the same way. Shen Yun is not just a traditional Chinese dance and music show. It's a journey through China's rich history and culture. It's a chance to experience the beauty and magnificence of true Chinese art, something that's been lost in modern times. If you don't know, Shen Yun is actually banned in China, but we have the opportunity to experience it here outside of China in major metropolitan centers near you all around the globe. Just click on that link below to find the performance nearest you. And if you're someone who values tradition, intellectual stimulation, and great storytelling, then you need to click on that link below right now and prepare to be utterly amazed. So something else may be going on here as well. And Robert Barnes was talking about this, that apparently the powers that be, going all the way back to George Soros, they want to get rid of Ron DeSantis. They want to take DeSantis out because they are afraid of him every bit as much as they fear Trump. And they believe that getting him to enter into this race for the Republican nomination, which would involve breaking the pact that more or less has already been decided in the Republican backrooms of a Trump-DeSantis ticket, which would unite the party and crush Biden in 2024. The establishment needed to split that ticket, and they knew they could do that by getting DeSantis to enter into the race. And then what they would do is they'd sit back and just watch Trump pummel him as only Trump can. He's the Godzilla of politics. So that's been the plan all along among the elites and the establishment. They'll destroy DeSantis by getting him to enter the race and then getting crushed by Trump. But obviously DeSantis wasn't cooperating. He wasn't getting into the race. And so, and this is where it gets intriguing, in order to force his hand, as it were, they realized indicting Trump was what they needed to do to convince DeSantis that this was his time. So after the indictment, you had all the DeSantis' snake neocon advisors saying, hey, man, this is your moment. Trump's going down in all this, right? So this is your chance. Now, if that's what happened, and if you watch our first video today, where I talk about just how much DeSantis has been politically hurt over the last several days, his poll numbers have been plummeting. Rich Barris has been following that. You can check out, I'll link down below. You can check out the first video today for the stats. But if that's the case, if all of this was just ultimately to hurt DeSantis, perhaps, just perhaps, the powers that be are satisfied with the political damage that's been done to DeSantis, satisfied enough to pull back from this indictment insanity so they don't suffer the seemingly inevitable backlash that a combination of weaponized legalism and cynical sex scandal can promote. That's about as speculative as I can get within the range of evidence here. But I don't know. I mean, I'm open to other considerations. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm curious on your thoughts on all this because clearly something's going on here. Remember, we got police barricades setting up around Manhattan Criminal Court. We got news reports from all sources coming out these last few days saying Trump's about to get indicted. You got the Soros-backed DA himself digging in his heels, doubling down on all this. And now we're getting word that they're having some serious second thoughts in all this. So, well, obviously, you know, we'll see what happens here, and we will definitely be keeping a very close eye on the events as they unfold. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on Trump support absolutely surging. All this DeSantis' support implodes. You're not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.